What's up everyone, Maximilian here, and welcome back to Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, The Online Warrior Episode 27. My apologies if there has not been that much Ultimate Marvel 3 content over the past week or two. Actually, my wife and myself have been going through the same sickness, and it's lasted quite a long time, and my throat is in a hell of a condition. But I really wanted to get this episode out, as the road to High Lord has been completed, and we can have our final conclusion episode. There also was some pretty big news. For you guys that were watching the previous week's episode, this was primarily going over all the stuff that was happening with the road to High Lord, breaking down some matches, and we'll actually do that in this one as well, and find out the determining factor in each one of these games that actually leads to the victory, in my opinion. But what happened over the last week that was pretty significant was Civil War. So Civil War was a major tournament that was featuring all the big prominent players of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And essentially what came down to the very end was, I believe, Chris G versus Unknown. And Unknown was actually a Wesker point player, and his whole strategy was to touch Morrigan immediately, X-Factor, and make sure she dies. But in the end, Chris G does win because you kind of see that his team is so effective that even if Morrigan dies, Virgil and Dr. Doom together are enough to pick up almost any other situation. They work so well together that it's ridiculous. So Chris G ends up winning it, and it was a really good tournament, and it was actually a lot of fun to watch. But it wasn't that extremely exciting in the end. A lot of people are predicting Chris G to win EVO Finals this year, and there was a huge prediction last year as well, and I think it's probably going to happen this year. I'm pretty sure this is the year that's going to solidify the new age of how powerful this team is in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You even see a lot of other people counterpicking with like a team of their own, like a similar Morrigan strategy with Dr. Doom missiles. And it just doesn't work as effective because the Chris G as a player has perfected the team. He literally knows the ins, the outs, the strategies, all the movement, and all the synergy based around these characters to get around almost every situation because he has the experience. If you get just some dude that comes up and tries to pick Morrigan and do missiles against him, they're gonna lose really, really, really freaking hard. And it goes to show nowadays that unless somebody masters this team or masters a perfect counter for it, this is going to be the stuff that's going to win Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and it's going to be in the finals for a very long time. So let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know if you like the fact that Marvel is coming out to a balancing point right now. Do you think this anti-hype stuff is kind of ruining like the end of Ultimate Marvel, or do you still enjoy the fact that there's this huge tournament spectacle with a huge variety of teams beforehand? Because you still see a very big mixture of different types of teams and structures and stuff like that going up into the finals. And the finals usually ends up being like, you know, a Rushdown team versus Chris G's Morrigan Dr. Doom team, and it can be very difficult to get through all that lame stuff. Some people are also questioning on a couple other videos, like, why am I calling that strategy lame? Like, the strategy of keeping like at a full screen or long distance from the screen from your opposition and throwing fireballs and doing everything you can to keep them out. The reason I called that lame is because that's what it's been called for a long time. Like, as far as a term in the fighting game community, the technical term for it is keep away. The casual term for it, like saying, well, somebody just lost, and then saying, well, you're free, it's the same thing as saying, like, you're free. It's lame. It's a lame playstyle. It's just kind of what it is, but it wins, and it's effective. The stuff that's usually kind of used in contradiction to that, and people get like really upset, is when you call it spam. There's a big difference between keep away, playing lame, and spam. The keep away playstyle has always existed in fighting games. No matter between Street Fighter 2 to anything else, there's always a character that does very well from distance. And there probably will always be that in the majority of fighting games from now on. However, these characters do tend to be very powerful and dominant in certain games, and especially in an online environment. When it comes to higher level tournaments, and you watch these guys like Chris G go at it with the most ridiculous amount of experience, it's not spam. Every single move that he's doing is calculated and precisionally placed to keep the other person at bay. He's that good to understand, and even when people get in, he has counter strategies for that as well. This isn't spam. Spam is more appropriate to the term of like a guy sitting at full screen distance and just shooting guns or doing something, the same thing, over and over and over and over again with no proper logic. And as soon as you get close to them, they just lose it, and you pretty much win the game. That's technically what I would consider spam. Spam is much different than keep away or playing lame. Playing lame is a playstyle similar to keep away as being a playstyle. While spam, I believe, if you want to use that term, is more appropriate towards somebody that doesn't exactly know what they're doing, and they just see something that does very well, and they just try to duplicate it, and they're like, this game's easy, look what I can do, blah, 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 blah. It's the equivalent of using E-Honda in the original Street Fighter 2 series, between, like, you know, Super Turbo and stuff like that. Everyone thinks that they can mash the crap out of hand slaps, and this is going to work. But then comes along somebody that actually somewhat knows how to play Street Fighter from a mid to high level, and they know how to get around that, and all of a sudden their strategy is completely lost, and that's it. That's the equivalent of spam, is like continually doing the exact same thing with no rhyme, no reason, and you don't understand why you're doing it, and you don't understand how to change it. And that's what I strive to change with people, to understand, like, each action you do is really important in fighting games, and every time you do something, it tips off your opponent that you're doing something, especially if they're paying attention. So, just wanted to clear that up, because I see that a lot between comments on this channel and comments on many other sites and pages nowadays, since the fighting game community has grown to a point where there's a lot more people watching. Understanding the difference between spam and a proper lame/keep away game, because playing lame and playing keep away might not be, you know, the most desired thing. It might not be the most exciting, and hell, it's something that I actually don't like very much. I don't like watching it, I don't like playing it, but it wins, and I can respect people going for the win and using things that definitely go for wins in fighting games, because, to be honest, do you really want to see people in a fighting game competition at the highest level not doing, like, their very best and trying their very hardest? Which is why you guys should stick around very soon, as the next episode of Real Talk, which is unrelated to the Online Warrior, is going to be discussing something that's been along in the fighting game scene for a very long time and came up over the past couple of weeks, and that's collusion and pot splitting. So, stick around for that, but for now, let's get into these online ranked games for our road to High Lord. Our first game going up against looks like a Wolverine, Iron Fist, and Akuma. This looks like something that Justin Wong would totally run. Wolverine opens me up at the very start and gets into a pretty beefy combo. I'm not too sure if he's able to finish this, but at least with some pretty good damage, as he did not have a meter DHC. If I can possibly, wow, really weird on the bottom part that I didn't convert through. I think I can kill Wolverine here with a simple DHC. If this possibly will go through, going to feel my power, and I'm going to give him, actually, wow, no, DHC not required. I blew all of the red bar, and on a quick mix-up at the beginning, Iron Fist gets tagged, and this should possibly, if I go into, wow, I can't even tell you. I would have normally gone into a TAC combo, brought it all the way down with Doom, and maybe gone to a level 3, but once again, Iron Fist cleans up with Akuma, and oh my gosh, did not even care about the foot dive. He could have gotten foot doved, but he didn't care. He knew how I would be defensive after the end. And with an extremely extensive, very pretty Iron Fist combo, this might actually clean things up. He could have gone into level 3, but he chose not to. But just with that, oh my gosh, Strider's the only one left in this team, and I gotta be very careful against somebody like Akuma. He pops X Factor as well, but there's just one thing that's keeping me from death right here, and it's the fact that he gets an air grab or a random super. This should possibly kill Akuma here, however. And oh my gosh, jumping medium was definitely not what I wanted. He jumps up with a heavy, grabs me immediately, and that should just about do it for the little ninja. So looking back on this match, there was this moment where Nova had a combo with Iron Fist in the corner, and I had an opportunity to potentially take him down with a TAC combo, but for some reason I went for a crouching heavy instead of a launcher, and I think that was definitely it. Once Iron Fist remained alive, he was able to take out 2 full characters. Next up actually is the same guy, and like I've said many times before, when you guys are running into a bunch of different players in an online environment that does have like less than 200 people in the entire world competing for each other with points, you're going to run into the same dudes. Wolverine gets a quick cross-up and misses it, and actually X-Factors through the super, which would have been unsafe. Will this be a good idea? We'll find out right now, and it looks like it is after a connected dive kick. Goes for an OTG, Akuma comes in, and this should sweep up Nova. Like he didn't even have any Nova Force, like he was a freaking dustpan. Iron Fist gets the, Iron Fist gets a really good assist on the cross under from Wolverine, and I don't think this will possibly kill because he has no X Factor, but he will go for a reset, and that was it. Gets a super jump height reset with a grab, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing with Dr. Doom right here, but he is dead as hell, and at the moment Wolverine has barely lost any health, so there's going to be a lot of work for Strider here, but a happy birthday is exactly what's needed. And just like that, I might be able to OTG Iron Fist a couple more times, but no, I'll Iron Fist Wolverine. Get this quick off-the-ground combo, and why didn't that work? There's some really weird things you guys will notice with Strider and X Factor that seem to work when not in X Factor, and they just either come out too fast or something. It's really hard for me to decipher why. Regardless, here comes Akuma, and he can actually make a comeback here with Akuma because he has so much health, and actually not that much health, he has a lot of meter. Teleport to the opposite side, and oh, this is going to be unfortunate. The poor bastard goes straight down. So looking back on this match, there was definitely an opportunity or two that I had to take advantage of things, but he just essentially got the better of me with Wolverine early on. However, I did get the better of him when Strider came in, popped an X Factor, and got 2 characters with and off the ground, and Iron Fist was left with barely any health. This next match going up against one of the players I found on Xbox Live to have some of the most played games of anybody. I think he has over 10,000 played games on Xbox Live. And his Magneto definitely shows it, so you don't see a lot of Magnetos in lower ranks online, especially with this game. And I've run into a few so far, only in higher ranks, so this guy is definitely one of them that uses a really powerful team as well. Regardless, getting into this match, catch Magneto on a jumping heavy with Nova. Now this is one of Nova's just ridiculously amazing moves because it converts into air grabs, it converts into long juggle states in the air, and so many good things. I really like Nova in this game, and especially in an online environment, he kind of suits my team also very well. Doom gets the cross under with Strider OTGs and brings Sentinel all the way back to the corner, and this should be an absolute dead robot with one of my little simpler Nova mix-ups in the corner. Not Nova mix-ups, but combo enders with Nova. There was also recently a video that came out that was talking about Strider and Nova stuff, and Doom actually, and I really need to pay attention to that and copy some of dem combos. Tries to get a chaotic flame on Doom using X Factor, does not, whiffs completely. I'm going to stay as far as I possibly can from this dude. Maybe be a little hesitant on assists or assist calling, but I just want to wear down his X Factor right now, and for the cost of meter, it is totally worth it for me. Finger lasers at the finger laser should do it, and he catches onto it. And if I time a proper... Yes, I was about to say, if Dormammu in this game throws out just a giant like ball pillar, or the fireball, you can actually call Strider right as he does it after the super flash, and it'll actually hit him. If you're not blocking or anything like that, it'll actually just straight go over there and hit him and knock the fireball out. So Dormammu users also got to be careful about that. And oh my god, Nova's getting hit for a lot of stuff. I could have probably called Strider a bit earlier because I did get hit in the air. However, he didn't come out in time. I was unable to hit him in that situation, and oh my god, yeah, Strider will not be able to hit him out of that. That freaking chaotic flame like covers the top of his head as well. And now, just after a little bit of keep away from Dormammu, he's doing extremely well. But with this, I think a quick combo with Strider will end the entire match. And just earlier, during the beginning of this match, I think he actually touches me for the first time in this game and gets a pretty good amount of damage on Nova and sadly misses the combo at the very end in the corner with Magneto. Like I was saying, Magneto combos can be pretty difficult to do online, and I think if he had landed that combo, he might have had enough meter to go into something pretty freaking damaging. Next up, we once again have a run back with the same dude. I think I ran into this guy a total of like 5 or 6 times, and I ended up winning all but one. So these were some pretty intense matches, and all of them were down to the wire. Anyway, going right up from the start, he's going to be throwing out those Sentinel drones all the freaking time. And now that I have a little bit of health with Nova, I think one of the things that I would do is try to snipe the crap out of that assist. And wow, get a pretty good conversion with the Strider assist. And he totally bupkisses all over the TAC combo, but there it is. Oh my god. Behold, Optic Blast come flying in, get a little bit of chip damage on Magneto. And Sentinel's the only character he's got left. The problem is, if like with Sentinel, you've got to sacrifice meter to make himself safe in situations like that, and just because of it, an easy air grab with Nova will almost happen every freaking time. Up TAC to finish off the combo, and now all he's got left is Dormammu. However, if you guys remember the previous match, his Dormammu almost took out the entire freaking team, and this is not looking so good. This is not looking very good at all. He gets a free damage at the end of this because of the pillar, and yep, Dr. Doom is dead. So here comes Strider. I gotta be really careful about this, and wow, standing heavy totally smacked me, and this should possibly do it. Oh my god, he missed the little bit that he needed to get into, and I can cancel this into level 3. Ragnarok's at least gonna disrupt that super, but Strider now has at least X Factor, but no meter to back him up. So I'm just going to space him out completely at this point. Oh my god, and the wall cling into the extra bounce absolutely does it. And like I was saying earlier, I was noticing how he was calling Sentinel from a full screen distance, and Nova, with a little bit of extra red health, can do a huge damaging beam super. Sadly, I don't have anything really good to DHC afterwards, but that was definitely the part in this match that completely changed everything. And here we go. This is my first rank up battle opportunity to get into High Lord. For you guys that might not know, you actually get these rank up opportunities, and you can lose them as well. If you do not win said game, you will actually not get a chance. And oh my god, snap Hulk out. Sentinel was widely open, at least it appeared, but those drones came at a perfect pace to keep him safe. Tags Sentinel, tags Blue Hulk back in. get a pretty good damaging combo, but he smacks me on the way back down. Oh, I have a chance to do some pretty good damage on Sentinel, but it didn't work. Team Blue is going out pretty good, and with a very simple combo, Nova is going to totally die. So in comes Dr. Doom against, he brings in Zero actually, and Doom comes foot diving straight into the face, which is what he should always be doing, and gets Zero on a pretty easy combo. I'm not too sure if I'm able to extend this much more, but it doesn't matter. I botched the combo anyway. Probably because I'm nervous that this is potentially my High Lord match. And whether it'll actually become that or not, we don't know, but killing Zero is definitely something very good on the path to actually winning this game. I'd say Zero is probably his most scary character, but in reality, the character that's going to do the most damage is this guy right here, is the Hulk. And I will X-Factor the hell out of this dude, because the plan is to X-Factor this character and to have enough X-Factor at the very end after killing this character, the second character, that Strider comes in with about 50% X-Factor left, and this should be enough time to take out somebody that has less than 1 million health, is my general estimation. And if I get the cross-up, that absolutely does it. Strider Hiryu in the very end takes it, and I can't believe that I finally hit High Lord. I'd actually like to give a huge thanks to anyone that's been watching so far. Anybody that's been staying tuned with the Online Warrior has continued watching the footage I've had of this game. It's been a very long road for myself to get something of higher rank, because when I do play, I don't get to play very much, but I try to maximize it as much as I can. And if you guys enjoyed these live commentaries and going back to this old style, I'd appreciate a comment below. And if you're looking into some more footage of other games, I totally recently did an Injustice review similar to the style of Assist Me. If you guys hadn't had a chance yet, please check it out by clicking the annotation at the top. My name is Maximilian, and I'll see you next week.